Hello, sports fans. It is Tuesday, December the 9th, year 2014. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. NFL picks for week number 15 coming up shortly. Let's quickly recap the Monday Night Football game from last night, where the Green Bay Packers at home at historic Lambeau Field hold on and beat the Atlanta Falcons 43-37. Green Bay up to 10-3, Atlanta down to 5-8. I'll tell you, this was the tale of two halves. Green Bay dominated the first half. They're up 31-7 at the half. They're doing whatever they want on offense. Atlanta looks like a dead carcass. You figure this game is over. Not so fast. Atlanta starts to rally. They cut it to 31-17. They cut it to 34-24. They cut it to 40-30. And they finally cut it to 43-37, but then Atlanta tries an onside kick, which was a terrible onside kick. I mean, they didn't give themselves any chance to recover that. Green Bay recovers the onside kick, gets a couple first downs, runs out the clock, and holds on for the victory. Nice rally by Atlanta. They were starting to carve up the Green Bay secondary. Julio Jones was running wild in the secondary. He's had two tremendous games in a row, but he had to leave with a hip injury. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how he is for the Pittsburgh game this week. So Atlanta did show some life. They did rally in the second half, but Atlanta's defense is atrocious, and you don't want to have an atrocious defense playing Aaron Rodgers in that Green Bay offense. The Green Bay offense can score on anyone, especially at home at Lambeau Field. The Green Bay offense is just dynamite. Green Bay looks like one of the better teams in all of the NFL. Now, I didn't like the way Green Bay played on defense in the second half. Didn't like to see that. I mean, you like to see Green Bay play a little better on defense, but Green Bay has been hot. Like I said, they're one of the better teams in the NFC. It'll be interesting to see if Seattle catches Arizona, if Seattle can then catch Green Bay. It'll be interesting to see who gets that home field advantage in the NFC. That could be the difference of who gets to the Super Bowl between, say, a Green Bay or a Seattle, just like in the AFC between New England and Denver. We'll keep an eye on that home field race. So Green Bay gets the win there. Without further ado, let's get to our NFL picks for week number 15. Also, I will be back with you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a show tomorrow. My friend Joe Spano from Sirius Satellite Radio will be here tomorrow. We're going to quickly go through the bowl games. We're not going to pick the bowl games. I'll pick them for you next week. We're just going to go through the bowl games, and then I'm going to get his thoughts on the Final Four playoff and who he thought should have been in, if he had any problem with Ohio State beating out Baylor and TCU and all that kind of stuff. So I will do a show for you tomorrow. We'll touch on the bowl games. And by the way, there's 39 bowl games. Are you kidding me? 39 bowl games. We'll touch on them tomorrow. I won't pick them. Me and him will touch on them, and then I'll get his thoughts on the Final Four playoffs. So I will be back with you guys tomorrow. But NFL picks right now. I am ready to go. I'm going to have a big week this week. I can feel it. Did my homework yesterday. I have good feelings about this week. Ready to get off the schneid. Ready to get back to my winning ways. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Pick number 1, the Thursday night game from St. Louis. The St. Louis Rams are -3 against the Arizona Cardinals. It's funny, you look at this spread and you go, Arizona is 10-3, St. Louis is 6-7, but St. Louis is a 3-point favorite. That tells you all you need to know. Arizona, although they did beat Kansas City, nice win for them, they can't score. Stanton is not playing well at all. Who knows if Fitzgerald is playing. As much as I love the Arizona defense, they put so much pressure. The offense for Arizona does nothing. They put so much pressure on the Arizona defense to carry the game. In this day and age in the NFL, you can't put that much pressure on your defense. You have to score at least a little bit. I don't like Arizona here at all on the road. St. Louis has a lot of young talent. They've pitched back-to-back shutouts. They've beaten some of the better teams in the league. They've beaten Seattle this year. St. Louis can play with anyone. St. Louis is an up-and-coming team. I think next year they're going to have a really decent season. We know Fisher can coach. Thursday night usually favors the home team. The road team has to travel. It's a short week to begin with. I like St. Louis here. I'll give up the 3 points. I don't trust Arizona anymore. As much as I love their defense, I do not trust their offense. I don't trust Stanton. Fitzgerald, who knows if he's going to play. Hard to win games when you only score about 10, 13, 14, 17 points, especially on the road. I like the way the Rams are playing. The Rams defense, like I said, 2 straight shutouts. I think the Rams win this game. I like St. Louis on Thursday Night Football to beat Arizona. St. Louis, -3 over Arizona, pick number 1. Let's go to the Sunday games. Let's go to Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, one of my favorite stadiums in all the NFL. Kansas City is -9 against the Oakland Raiders. Oakland has won 2 of the last 3 games, but both of those games have been at home. The one time Oakland went on the road the last 3 weeks, they lost 52-0 to St. Louis. Kansas City has dropped 3 in a row. They are one of those many 7-6 teams. Kansas City basically has to win out to make the playoffs. They are in real trouble. They have to win this game. Now, Kansas City just lost to Oakland a couple weeks ago. I don't think they're going to lose to them again. I think Oakland on the road, you're going to get like you got 2 weeks ago when Oakland got flattened 52-0 to St. Louis. I think Kansas City is going to handle this Raider team. I can't see them losing again to Oakland, especially at home. Kansas City cannot afford any more losses. They're not going to lose here at home to the Raiders. I like Kansas City -9 against Oakland. That's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go to Baltimore, where the Baltimore Ravens are -13 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Baltimore is 8-5, but right now they lose the tiebreaker, so they are on the outside looking in as far as a playoff spot, but they're right there. We know Jacksonville has had a miserable season. I got to go with Baltimore here. I don't want to hear about Jacksonville covering the 13 points. I don't want to hear about Jacksonville with their backdoor covers. Baltimore can be a bully team at home. I think they will bully Jacksonville right off the field. Just like Kansas City, Baltimore can't afford any more slip-ups. They certainly can't afford to play games with Jacksonville here and potentially lose this game. Baltimore should be all over Jacksonville in this game. This game should be over at the half. No fooling around here. Baltimore demolishes Jacksonville. I like Baltimore -13 against Jacksonville in Baltimore. That's pick number 3. Pick number 4, let's go to Atlanta, where the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons are pick 'em right now. I mean, that spread could change. This was the early line. We'll see how the spread changes after yesterday's game. We'll keep an eye on that Julio Jones injury. Pittsburgh right now sitting in a playoff spot. You know how frenetic they've been. They've been up, they've been down. Atlanta, they're also sitting right there as far as, they're right there in the playoffs, right there for the division, fighting with New Orleans, fighting for Carolina, even though all those teams have been awful this year. To me, when I look at this game, I think Pittsburgh is just better. Pittsburgh can score a bundle of points. Atlanta's defense can't stop anyone. There'll be a ton of Steeler fans down there in Atlanta. If Julio Jones has any sort of injury, that's a big negative to Atlanta. That would be their big plus in this game. Jones against that Steeler secondary, but with Jones a little banged up, I mean, maybe that negates that advantage as well. I think Pittsburgh's just better. I don't love the Steeler defense, but the Steeler defense is better than the Atlanta defense, and Pittsburgh should score a lot of points. The conditions will be ideal inside in the dome. Pittsburgh will have the running game going. Atlanta can't stop anyone. I don't like teams that can't stop anybody, and Atlanta just cannot stop anyone. I like Ryan. I like the offense for Atlanta, but they can't stop anyone. As strange as Pittsburgh has been this year, I'm going to go back on them. I'm going to take Pittsburgh over Atlanta. Right now the spread is pick 'em. I guess it'll go to 1 point either way. I'll take the Steelers. Pick 'em over Atlanta in Atlanta. That's pick number 4. Pick number 5, let's go to Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis Colts are -8.5 against the Houston Texans. Indianapolis is going to make the playoffs. They are going to win the division. It's just a matter of what seed they're going to be. Houston is a very respectable 7-6. Despite not having Clowney the whole year, the defense has played really well. Watt has been amazing. I don't love Fitzpatrick at quarterback. He, to me, is kind of a backup. They need to upgrade there. We'll see about Mallett if they go with him next year. He's out the rest of this year. I think this game is going to be a little closer than the spread. To me, 8.5 is a little high. The first game, I think, was close. I think Indianapolis won by, 5 points. They had to hang on and win the first game after having a big lead. I don't love Indianapolis's defense all that much. I think you can move the ball on them, and I love Houston's defense. I have a lot of respect for Houston's defense. This is a division game, and Houston is another one of these teams. 7-6. Can't afford any slip-ups. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, but they still have a chance. Can't afford to lose any more games. They're going to be really, really, really up for this game. I say they hang in there. I'm going to take Houston in their defense to keep it close. Houston plus 8.5 at Indianapolis. That is pick number 6, or pick number 5, I should say. I'm sorry. Pick number 6, let's go to Cleveland. The Dog Pound, another one of my favorite stadiums in all of the NFL. Where the Cincinnati Bengals are -3.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Now, this spread keeps jumping all over the place because at first Hoyer was quarterbacking. Then they say they may go to Manziel, so the spread is going all over the place. I mean, if Manziel quarterbacks, you got to worry about the rookie quarterback making mistakes. Hoyer hasn't played well at all, so you don't like what you see from him. Cincinnati just played an atrocious fourth quarter against Pittsburgh. Didn't play all that well against Tampa the week before. And Cleveland stomped on Cincinnati in Cincinnati this year. Cleveland, yet another one of those 7-6 teams, can't afford any slip-ups. Cincinnati's hanging on, for dear life for the division. They're right there with Pittsburgh battling for the division. This is a very, very intriguing game. I am going to take Cleveland in this game. They already beat Cincinnati. They dominated them. I think the Cleveland crowd is going to come into play here. The Cleveland crowd was electric last week. I expect them to be that way this week. I don't trust Cincinnati. I just don't. They're another one of these teams that's up and down. They look good, and then they just look flat. I like Cleveland here, especially with the points. If I'm getting 3.5, I'm getting the home team as well. I'll take Cleveland here. I will take Cleveland plus 3.5 against Cincinnati in the dog pound. That is pick number 6. Pick number 7, let's go up to New England, where the New England Patriots are -7 against the Miami Dolphins. New England, top record in the AFC. They have the tiebreaker against Denver. They can't afford to lose any games or else Denver could jump them. That could mean a whole lot as far as who gets to the Super Bowl. You don't want to be, if you're New England, going to Denver. You want to have Denver coming to your building. So you can't afford any slip-ups. Miami, here goes the theme again. Yet another one of those 7-6 teams. Miami did not play well at all last week. I didn't like their performance at all against Baltimore. Didn't like their performance the week before that against the Jets when they escaped. Miami is having all sorts of problems moving the ball. They can't score. They have no big plays down the field. New England's defense is much improved, and New England is going to get their points. They will score. Very hard to see Miami winning this game when they can't score. They're going to go up to Foxborough and win, 13-10? Not going to happen. New England is going to get their points. This game will be close for a while. New England pulls away late, just like they did last week at San Diego. New England, -7 against Miami, up in New England. That is pick number 7. Let's go to Carolina for pick number 8, where, believe it or not, the Carolina Panthers are still alive for the division and a playoff spot. They are -5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I never thought Carolina was going to be 5 points over anyone this year, and I never thought at this stage Carolina was going to be a half a game out of a playoff spot. But one win in 2 months does that for you. They have one win in 2 months, Carolina. They blew out New Orleans. That's good enough to put you right in the playoff race. And Tampa Bay, they're a dead carcass. They got manhandled by Detroit last week. As much as it pains me to take Carolina and give the 5, I'm certainly not taking Tampa Bay on the road. Carolina's fighting for the division. They just beat New Orleans 41-10, so they do have some sort of pulse. Tampa Bay has none. I'll go with the team that has a pulse and the home crowd. I mean, Tampa Bay has nothing to play for here. I'll reluctantly take Carolina and give the 5. Carolina -5 over Tampa Bay is my next pick. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where the New York Giants are -6 against the Washington Redskins. This is another game. Did you ever think the Giants were going to be 6-point favorites over anyone this year? That shows you how bad Washington's been. Washington just got shut out last week. Now they're saying McCoy may have an injury. He may be out. Here we go with Robert Griffin again. The quarterback carousel keeps turning for the Redskins. No matter who they put in there, they keep losing. I mean, the Redskins, when's the last time they won a game? I can't even remember. I think it was the Monday night game against Dallas, believe it or not. Whether it's Griffin or Cousins or McCoy, the Redskins are a complete mess. Giants, they lost to Jacksonville 2 weeks ago, but they did bomb Tennessee last week. I would think the Giants at home with Coughlin and Manning, after blowing out Tennessee, would be a little motivated here at home to win against a division rival. So I will take the Giants. Another one, I'm a little reluctant to give 6 points. I think the Giants will win this game, though, and I can't trust Washington. I just can't. They got shut out last week. They've shown me nothing. I mean, we don't know what we're going to get from that Washington offense. No points at home last week. How could you take that team on the road? I'll take the Giants -6 against the Redskins. Let's go up to Buffalo. Interesting game here. The Green Bay Packers off their Monday night win on -7.5 at the Buffalo Bills. Green Bay, of course, trying to win their division. They're trying to fight off Detroit. Green Bay looking for, top seed in the NFC. Green Bay's got a lot to play for. Buffalo, another one of those 7-6 teams. Can't afford any more losses. Buffalo did rally last week, got it close against Denver, but came up short. It's a very, very interesting game. Green Bay scores a ton of points at home. They're not quite the same team on the road. And I looked at the schedule. Green Bay in like the last 6 weeks has only had one road game if you factor in the bye week and all their home games. So they've been home a lot. That's where they went on this big run, putting a lot of points up at home. They're home heavy lately. They've only had one road game in the last 6 weeks. Buffalo, usually a good home team, good defensive team. They can't afford any more slip-ups, Buffalo. Do I think Buffalo has enough to win this game? That's asking a lot. But do I think the 7.5 is a little high? I do. Buffalo's fighting for a playoff spot. They are home. They only lost to Denver by 7. So if they lost to Denver by 7 on the road, they can certainly hang in there against Green Bay at home, I think. Tough order to have Buffalo win this game. But I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to grab the points here. Maybe we'll get some inclement weather up there in Buffalo. You'd love to have the weather you have today here in New York. Today here in New York is an absolute monsoon. You'd love to have that up in Buffalo come Sunday and have the 7.5 points. But anyway, I will take a gamble. I will take Buffalo plus 7.5 to keep it close. That's a lot of points to give to a home team, especially a team that's fighting for their playoff lives. I'll take Buffalo plus 7.5. By the way, one more note on Green Bay, by the way. I didn't take the game last night, but I feel for all those people that took Green Bay last night and gave the 11 and lost on yet another backdoor cover. How many times has that happened recently? I know a lot of my friends took Green Bay last night and gave the 11 points. And imagine at 31-7, you're thinking you got that money in the bank, and then Atlanta starts coming back and wins on a backdoor cover, covers the spread, Atlanta, right at the end. So that must have been a heartbreaker for all my friends. I didn't take that game, thank goodness. It would have been yet another backdoor cover I would have lost on. But anyway, let's get to the next game. Let's go up to Detroit, with the Detroit Lions are -7 against the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit right there for the playoffs. They are one game behind Green Bay for the division. Minnesota, although a little improved, is still not great. Detroit did handle Minnesota in Minnesota this year. To me, as much as I like some of the things Minnesota's doing, I don't think they're good enough to win in Detroit. Detroit's defense dominated up in Minnesota. I think they'll dominate here. I think they'll hold Minnesota to a low point total. I can't see Minnesota scoring that many points. I think Detroit held them to 3 in Minnesota. That's all I need to know. Detroit should win this game, should win it handily, just like they did last week at home against Tampa Bay. I like Detroit -7 against Minnesota in Detroit. Let's go to Tennessee, Nashville. Here's a doozer of a game. Tennessee at home, -1 against the Jets. I mean, are you kidding me? What kind of a sloppy mess is this? I mean, believe it or not, and I never thought I'd say this, I think the Jets are better. I think the Jets are better than Tennessee. The Jets have at least have shown some life the last 2 weeks. They lose in overtime to Minnesota, lose the heartbreaker to the Dolphins. Jets are showing some life, even though they're awful. Tennessee looks like a lifeless carcass. They look like probably one of the, they may be the worst team in the NFL the way they're playing. They may be even worse than Oakland and Jacksonville the way they're playing. At least those other teams are showing life. Tennessee is a dead carcass. I hate to do it. I got to take the Jets here, so I will take the Jets +1 on the road. I never thought I'd say it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, if I lose on this game next week, I don't want to hear about it. I mean, I can't take Tennessee here. I will take the Jets +1 at Tennessee just because the Jets have shown me more life the last few weeks. Let's go to San Diego. Monster game here with the Denver Broncos on -4.5 against the San Diego Chargers. Denver, of course, fighting for top seed in the AFC. They're going to need to win out. Hope New England loses a game. San Diego battling for their playoff lives. I'm going to take San Diego here. They had a tough loss to New England last week. San Diego is starting to get healthy on the defensive end, which I like to see. You know, they can move the ball on offense, although they did not move the ball last week. New England's defense has improved. Denver, to me, is much, much better at home. They're a home-heavy team. They start, the game starts getting, they start playing downhill at home. Score a bunch of points. On the road, not so much. Denver has not looked all that great on the road this year. And every year, San Diego seems to beat Peyton Manning, whether he's in Denver or in Indianapolis. San Diego usually gets one game against Denver. Now, Denver won the first game in Denver rather easily. That's when San Diego is starting to slide. I like San Diego here, +4.5. I think they hang in this game. I think it's a close game. San Diego fighting for their playoff lives. I think it's one of the must-watch games of the weekend. But with 4.5, I'll take San Diego. Home crowd. Denver not as good on the road. I'll take San Diego with the 4.5. So San Diego plus 4.5 against Denver. Seattle at home is our next game, -9 against San Francisco. And you don't think I'm taking San Francisco again, do you? How many times have I tried with those 49ers? How many times? And then they let me down last week at Oakland. Looks like Harbaugh is gone. I like Jim Harbaugh as a coach. Looks like he's gone. Niners are going to go in a different direction. Looks like they're going to keep Kaepernick. He's still young enough. Maybe you can get him to improve. He's definitely taken a step backwards. And that offensive line, that's where the real trouble is for San Francisco. Their offensive line is a joke. They can't protect anyone. The Rams had 8 sacks against them. The Raiders were putting pressure on them. Everyone that San Francisco plays gets a bundle of sacks. And what happened just a couple weeks ago, Thanksgiving night, when Seattle went up to San Francisco? Seattle stomped on them. What did San Francisco have? 3 points? Don't expect it to be any different here in Seattle. Seattle's hot. They're trying to get top seed in the NFC. They're right behind Arizona. Expect Seattle to stomp all over San Francisco. I'm sorry, San Francisco. I tried with you. You guys are done. Seattle's hot. I like Seattle. -9 against San Francisco. Let's go to the Sunday night game. Just a great game here. The Philadelphia Eagles at home, -3.5 against the Dallas Cowboys. This is for, the whole kit and caboodle here. This is for the division lead. The loser of this game is going to be fighting for their playoff lives. Right now, Dallas is not in a playoff spot. Despite all Dallas's good work, the NFC is so strong that right now they are not in a playoff spot. If Dallas loses this game, they may not make the playoffs. If they win this game, they may win the division. That's how huge this game is. Now, Philadelphia is still going with Sanchez. Fall's not ready yet. Philadelphia coming off the tough loss to Seattle. On Thanksgiving, Philadelphia laid it on Dallas in Dallas, blew Dallas off the field. I expect this game to be a lot closer. I expect Dallas to play better. Dallas has had extra rest. Remember, they played Thursday in Chicago. They're going to have a few more days I'm losing my voice, to prepare for this game. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I think this game is a humdinger. I think this game is a must-watch. One of the better games of the weekend. There are a few good games. This is right up there at the top. I think it's a close game. I think it's a field goal game either way. So I'm going to take Dallas plus 3.5. If you told me Philly was going to win, I couldn't argue with you. But I think Dallas will play a lot better in this game. A lot closer than the first meeting. I'll take Dallas plus 3.5. Field goal game either way. And the final pick. Oh boy, let's go to Monday night with the New Orleans Saints on -3 against the Chicago Bears. And I said yesterday I do not want to take New Orleans the rest of the year. But what choice do I have? I can't take the Bears. The Bears' defense is just as bad as Atlanta's. Now Marshall is out on the offensive side. Cutler is moody. The new coach hasn't done a good job. The crowd is going to be booing every time Chicago does something wrong. I don't like the Bears at all. As much as I'm disgusted with New Orleans and their performance, they did beat Pittsburgh on the road 2 weeks ago. That gives me some sort of hope for them. I couldn't believe they lost at home 41-10 to Carolina. I still can't believe they put up that kind of effort. I would think on Monday Night Football, with the division on the line, against a Swiss cheese secondary with Chicago, a dead carcass with the Bears, that New Orleans would find a way to win the game. So reluctantly, I will take New Orleans. I have no choice here. I can't take Chicago. I have no choice. I will take New Orleans in Chicago, -3 points. I hate to do it. I would love to pick against New Orleans, but I'll take New Orleans on Monday Night Football. So those are my picks for the NFL in week number 15. Let's quickly review. I like St. Louis -3 against Arizona. I like Kansas City -9 against Oakland. I like Baltimore -13 against Jacksonville. I like Pittsburgh Pick'em with Atlanta. I like Houston plus 8.5 at Indianapolis. I like Cleveland plus 3.5 against Cincinnati in the dog pound. I like New England at home -7 against Miami. I like Carolina at home -5 against Tampa. I like the Giants at home -6 against Washington. I like Buffalo at home plus 7.5 against Green Bay. I like Detroit at home -7 against Minnesota. I like the Jets plus 1 at Tennessee. I like San Diego at home plus 4.5 against Denver. I like Seattle at home -9 against San Francisco. I like Dallas plus 3.5 at Philly. And I like New Orleans -3 at Chicago. I think a lot more home teams are going to do well this week. Last week was a road-heavy week. All the road teams won last week. Don't expect that to happen again. I feel very confident in my picks this week. I'm going to be back to my winning ways in the NFL. My high watermark for the year for the NFL was 19 over 500 against the spread. I'm now 14 over. I've dipped a little bit, but I think I'm going to get over that 19-game high watermark very, very quickly. All right, you guys are all caught up for today. Like I said, I will be doing a show with you tomorrow. I'm going to have my Joe from Sirius Satellite Radio here. We're going to touch on the Final Four playoff, get his thoughts on who should have been in if he agrees with the committee. We're also going to go through all 39 bowl games. Just going to touch on the matchups, see the matchups we like. I'll tell you, there's a lot of bad bowl matchups. Don't listen to ESPN. They think every matchup is good. There's a lot of strange matchups. We're going to just touch on the matchups tomorrow. Not going to pick the games. I will pick all 39 games for you next week, and I expect to be back to my winning ways in college football. I expect to do a lot better in the bowl season. I usually have a great bowl season. My expectations for the bowl season with 39 games, I'd like to go like 25-14. That would put me 11 over for the bowl season. That would put me very close to my high watermark for the college football season. And that would make up for my past couple of week follies where I've just fallen to pieces the last couple of weeks and gotten totally out of character. I've looked at the bowl matchups. I'm very confident in them. We'll touch on them tomorrow with my friend Joe from Sirius Satellite Radio. All right, you guys are all set tonight. You got your hockey, you got your NBA. You might want to check out a little college basketball. You got the Jimmy V Classic. Of course, it's been Jimmy V week the whole week. You got Villanova in the Garden against Illinois. Then you got Louisville in the Garden against Indiana. They're calling it the top 10 versus the Big 10. That's what they're calling these matchups. You might want to check out the Jimmy V speech. I love watching that speech. Can't get enough of it. You might also want to watch one of those 30 for 30 shows on the NC State Wolfpack the year they won the national title. It's called Survive and Advance. Really, really great show. You wouldn't believe what NC State had to do just to get to the tournament, let alone win it. You wouldn't believe some of the games. And remember, these games were without a shot clock and a three-point line. Some of the games they pulled out, like they were down like 6 points with a minute to go in one of the games. So if you can catch on the 30 for 30 show, Survive and Advance about the NC State Wolfpack team, coached by Jim Valvano. You might want to check it out. Great show. And, of course, definitely check out Jimmy V Week. Check out his speech. If you can make a donation, definitely do so. It's for a great cause. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll touch on the bowl games. I'll have my friend Joe here. We'll get into a little college football. You guys have a happy and healthy night tonight. You guys stay safe. Enjoy the games. I will talk to you tomorrow, Wednesday, with my friend Joe. Take care.